I'm very happy about our choices.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you cannot live not doing art, not creating things, not telling stories.
Hello, Know Me Now watchers. It is great to have you here today. And today we are with Junio and Ana from New York, and they are dancers and actors. And it's great to have you guys here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, so I had a great conversation with these guys last week, just getting to know them a little bit. And I'm excited for you guys to get to know them as well today. So, but before we get into the actual interview with the questions, we're going to do a bit of a hot seat round. So, Junio and Ana, what we're going to do now is I'm just going to ask a couple questions about you guys and try to answer them in about 10 seconds. So hopefully these questions don't make you sweat too much.
I was sweating 2 minutes ago, but yeah, sure.
Junio, what has been your favorite project so far?
Ooh, my favorite project so far was doing Carmen at the Met, performing a principal. That was a very good project. Like, it was a great experience. Yeah.
And Ana, what is one of the most daring things you have done?
So we have to challenge ourselves on the stage almost every performance. So for instance, I have this ones to dance in barefoot, which is not really my powerhouse. I'm most comfortable wearing pointe shoes, believe me or not. But barefoot in a almost like a canvas surface, and very rate because we're portraying like mountains and a very high hill, and to dance against the gravity, it was really challenging.
What has been one of your most interesting roles as an actor and actress so far?
I shot this web series once, which was, we were filming for I think 6 days in a row, which was the most that I've been on set in a row. So it was fun. It was a comedy web series, and I had an idea of how I'm gonna play it, and we had a couple of rehearsals before. But there was such a big difference from the first day up until the last day. Like, the first day I was a little nervous. I didn't know the people around me as much, and the writer was there, and director and everybody. But then as I was like every day working in the same character, it was like by the third day, it was like I was in and out character so easy, and it was so fun. I was truly this other person. I guess my favorite is when I have the time on set to create it more than just shooting a day or so.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you. And Junio, what about you?
I used to audition for a lot of characters in comedy and easy things. And in Brazil, I did a lot of comedy in theater, so I haven't had a chance to audition for anything else other than just comedy here. But then I started to do the bad guys, the villains, which is like, now I love anything about bad guys, anything about killers and all of those bad things. It's very fun to play those characters, and I just played a character like that not too long ago, and it was so much fun to really be someone that there's nothing to do with me. I'm not that person. I would never think like that. And I did one of these characters in a short film where I got to do really bad things, but it was very fun to do it, you know. So those characters are like my favorites. Yeah. But it's interesting to work together in the same field. It's very interesting.
This has created some great dynamic to move on to the next part, because I was actually going to ask, what is it like working together?
I mean, it's been such a long time we work together. We don't know how it's not
working
how
together.
it is not to work together. We do different projects, of course, but it's almost like we understand each other because we both do the same thing. So I mean, I'm just guessing it's easier than if he wasn't an artist. Like, I would have to explain myself a lot more, I guess.
At first, when we met and we started to really work together, because we started working together before we started dating, so that was a challenge. Maybe not so much until to the point where we started to date, and then I think that was like the most chaotic part, because as a performer, you always rehearsing, and then like as we're getting to know each other and we really know each other. Let's fast forward a little bit after we got married as well. It was weird because I can tell her things, she can tell me things, and then when you're in rehearsal, it's so much in your body, in your mind, because it's very intense, the rehearsals. And so we have to learn how to not bring that home after a while.
And we also had to learn how to not bring home to
work as well,
workplace, because there is always someone in front of us rehearsing us. And then even with the language also, we start to speak to each other in Portuguese, and the other person, the person who is responsible for the rehearsal is like,
I mean, what are you guys talking about? And
yeah,
we're like, no, we can't do that anymore. It's rude.
Yeah.
And then we start to learn. Over the years, we learned that, I mean, I guess we were very young too when we got married. So we were like, learning how to behave in front of people, and especially in rehearsal, because sometimes in rehearsal, you go crazy. You get mad because one thing didn't work. You've been trying a step for a while, and that step's not working.
Yeah, all the things that everybody does. But like when you're not husband and wife, or not so, intimate with the person,
you're very generous and nice.
Yeah, you're polite, right?
Yeah.
The way you say things is a little, even though you can fight also, but it's different.
Right.
Like when you, like you're saying, when you're so comfortable with the person, sometimes you forget the line between like being polite, because and at the moment you're like, and then we have to go back. I'm sorry. So over time we learned that.
We go sometimes to some place to perform as a guest. We have one rehearsal for a thing that before we used to rehearse like months. We're very connected. It's very easy.
I would say work together, make things easier, to the point of we're in advantage, as in, if I have to rehearse with someone else, we don't have that natural chemistry. So until we have to build something to get to a performance that where Junio and I, if we're chosen to perform something, we already like 5 steps ahead,
So in a way, it's we're a team.
Yeah.
And it's easier to get higher as a team. In a way.
Yeah.
Cool. So how did you guys actually meet then? You talked about how you were already rehearsing and performing together before you got married, but how did you actually meet?
Dancing
in a summer program.
Yeah, back in Brazil, our hometown.
Many years ago.
I was 15 years old.
I was 18.
Yeah.
That's like 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Yeah, we were from different dance schools, but there was this summer program where in my hometown, where everybody went to this summer program with Cuban teachers. It was a big thing, and they put us together because of our heights in match. We both were dancing the same youth company back in Brazil, and again we did. The
director always matched us together because we were almost the same height. Yeah. So as partners, it was easier for us to get cast together.
Yeah.
So and then that's when we started to.
We met at the summer program, but we became friends, and we started to work more together as we both were in the same dance company back in Brazil.
Right. So then how did you actually both end up in New York from Brazil?
Yeah, long story short, I came to a competition in 2005, a New York International Ballet competition. And
so at that point, we were already, that was 2005, we were already dating.
We applied together. I ended up coming to New York. She couldn't come. And then I got a job here after the competition. So I moved here. I stayed here. I actually didn't go back to Brazil. I got a contract and I stayed here for a year. I went back to Brazil, and we both went to a competition in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil. And we both got scholarship to go to move to Austria.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I already had a contract here. So I came back here and she went to Austria for a year.
I knew it wasn't going
Further
in Brazil. Like I hit a point that where there wasn't anywhere else to go. So it was always a dream of mine to dance outside my country. And another year later, I tried again with visa, and I got.
They hired her, and then we started our life here. And then a year later, we went back to Brazil. We got married.
Yes, that was 2008. Yeah, but that's how we end up in New York.
Well, so you guys have shared a little bit then about your story.
We left our countries in a way. Like that was a huge sacrifice, you know. Another sacrifice was like when I got into the competition here, I told her like I don't want to go if you're not going. Mm. And she was like the most cheerleader for me. She was like, no, you're gonna go and then you try and then we'll see what things gonna go after that. So those sacrifices, like the long distance relationship was very hard for us. Family, we haven't been in Brazil for many years. On the Christmas Day, Carnival is a big thing in Brazil.
Yeah, all the holidays. I guess the biggest for everybody, like not the biggest holiday, but like the amount of time when you're free from work is like December, right? December, January kind of thing. And that's our busiest time.
Dieting, sleeping, and not going to parties. Even though when I was young, I went to parties a lot, but now we don't do anymore because if I go, I can't dance next day. So it's, you know, a lot of sacrifices.
For example, in my situation, I was living a normal life. I was dancing professionally, and I was also studying. I was in college. I was about to finish college within a year, and that's when we got invited to go to Europe, to Austria, right?
Right.
1 year for me to finish my college, my business school, yeah. And one side of me and also my dad voice in my head is like, it's only 1 year, finish this thing and then you go. But then reality is my opportunity was right there and then. I don't know if in a year I would have the same opportunity. I have no idea. Maybe I would, maybe not. So I didn't even think twice. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I can always come back to study.
It's cool to be invited into, I guess, seeing some snapshots of your life and what you guys have done and gone through so far. But what I think is pretty cool though is you have pursued dance so much, but you're also an actress and an actor. So how did you get into that? It
started with acting and then I went to dance because my brothers were dancers. As a dancer, it's everything on your body, right? It's a body language. But you don't talk. I started acting actually, let me go back a little bit. When I was in high school, I was very fat. And I'm not saying I was suffering bullying because I didn't see that back then. Maybe I was, I don't know. But I was not included. They were doing a play at school that was a comedy, by the way. The lead actor stepped out and they came and they asked me to do it. And I was in shock. I was like, wow, they're gonna ask me to do this? I didn't know what to say. Long story short, I ended up doing it and I felt the most amazing energy and feeling when I portrayed that character. And I made people laugh. And that was like, I knew inside of my head, like, I want to keep doing that. No matter what, I'm going to do it. Now I'm pursuing more. I have an agent. I have a manager. Now I audition for big things. And I mean, it's a process. It's a process like any other career, right? I'm focused on learning. So that's how I jump into the acting. And now I'm like embracing more than before.
For me, I never act in Brazil. And I started by seeing him going to acting classes, and sometimes we study the script together, and I'm like, man, this is really, really cool. And I felt like I was still really shy to talk out loud. again, because of the language thing, I still think I need to improve so much more. And then, but for me, it happened the other way though. I was always being a ballerina. That was my dream. That's it. I'm gonna do it. And then we were dancing together this piece, telling a story about war.
A war.
The Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
And we are this couple where he goes to the war and he ends up dying there, and I have 2 kids. And it was a very acting heavy. I didn't speak in the show, but it was
very
a lot
emotional.
of emotions, and the music was beautiful, and we portrayed the whole story as a lead dancers, right? And that was a very special piece. And then the cinematographer for that show, he approached me after one of the rehearsals, and he's like, "Oh, I'm working this commercial. Send me your resume, your information, your picture, and I'm gonna show to the director." And I'm like, "Oh, it's a dance commercial. What do I have to do for it?" He's like, "No, it's not a dance commercial. It's a milk commercial, and just send me your stuff, and we'll see what happens." And I sent my dance resume because that's the only thing I had.
You didn't know the language.
My dance headshot, like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he saw me dancing. What else?
But you were acting. That's the thing.
Right, but I didn't knew.
Well, that's the
was
thing.
like
You take
that.
for granted as a dancer.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
No, I guess because like he was saying, I play by the rules. In the back of my head, it's like I never study it. So how can I be?
But we
that,
do. In dance,
right?
we do study.
I know,
Not knowing that we're
but
studying
I
that.
know,
So funny.
baby, but it's different. It's a different type of
Right now,
acting.
yeah.
So I sent and I booked the commercial. And so for me, it was like, oh, how cool, I booked the commercial. I was really like that. And then there was another actress doing also the commercial. And by watching her, I was like, wow.
That's how you do it.
No, and I was like, wow, I really would love to do that also, like, and then it became like, it started to like, maybe I want to do that. I want to do that. I can do that too.
It's all connected, I feel, right?
So then from that commercial, I'm like, Junio, I want to do acting classes. And then I went in a acting studio, and then I keep. And
now we're
going,
taking classes together. We watch it because now we've been taking classes on Zoom, and we have the same coach.
It was actually amazing because even doing acting classes, it helped me so much on my dancing.
Yeah. Going further into the dance thing, just one more time. What do you love about dance that you haven't experienced anywhere else?
About dance?
I guess the exposition of it, like how, like you were saying earlier, like you're either there or you're not. And like dance, it's a live thing, like a live theater. And you don't have another take,
That's it.
Yeah, so if you're there, it's amazing. And for me, it's like when I'm really focused and I'm really into whatever I'm performing, I become almost deaf and blind for the things that doesn't matter.
The experiences.
I only hear the music and I only see the person I need to see and nothing else. Like I totally immerse in that thing, where like I can compare it to acting, for example. It's really cool when this happens. It happened to me, especially when I work in the same character more than once. But like it's usually a small environment and a lot of people and a lot of lights. So it's even when you're there, you're so much aware still of everything else.
Right.
Where in dance, I don't know, because of the stage light, because the audience is all dark, and it becomes your world, and that's it. Like, and you're untouchable.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure that everyone's gotten a lot out of what you guys have shared. If you want to check out their websites and their other social media platforms, just look in the comments below and you can see more of what they're doing and what they have done in the past as well. And thank you so much, Junio and Ana, for joining us here today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.